Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Tech for Tomorrow, the joint podcast between the Hackathon Company and Junction, Europe's leading hackathon organizers. And in this podcast, we talk about innovation, sustainability, hackathons, and many other topics that all revolve around the main idea of how we can use tech to create a better tomorrow. My name is Marina. I am the Chief Marketing Officer at Junction. And today I'm joined by Oliver, the CEO and founder of the Hackathon Company, and Daniil, the Head of Global Operations at Junction. Hi, guys. It's really great to have you here.
Hello.
Hi there. Good morning.
Cool. I think we can start with a brief introduction round. And maybe, Oliver, if you want to go first.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Marina. And Daniel, good to be with you here this morning. My name is Olli. I'm founder and CEO of the Hackathon Company. We founded, or I founded, in 2018, and ever since have been running hackathons in all formats, shapes, sizes, remote, virtual, etc. And that's the reason why I'm super thrilled to be with you guys here, because my hunch is that you're doing something similar.
Yeah, that's true. I'm Daniel, as Marina said, doing the global operations at Junction. So I have joined Junction not a long time ago, but already have experienced lots of different things, lots of different hackathons. And it's been a great experience. I've never been part of hackathons before joining the company, but during the last 5-6 months, it's been like a journey. It's been a ride. So I'm awaiting what the future has in terms of hackathons and different events for me and for the company in general.
It's great to have you guys here, and I think you're the perfect people to discuss today's topic with, because in the first episode, we kind of delved into the background of the Hackathon Company and Junction, and we talked about how they were created. And today, we want to take a peek into the future and in the potential development trajectories of both companies. And yeah, I think without further ado, we could dive in. And so my first question for you would be, what are the primary goals for the Hackathon Company and Junction in the upcoming 3 to 5 years? And maybe, Olli, if you want to start.
So first of all, 3 to 5 years is a very long time period for technology, right? And we've seen it in the last years that with the global pandemic and with different trends, it's very hard to plan long term. So when it comes to the short-term and mid-term planning, for us, it's really about establishing and further developing our already existing platforms. You guys and our organizations talked about the all-female format, right, that we have in place. That's working tremendously well. The users, the techies and the hackers, they have great feedback for us, and obviously this is something we want to foster, and we want to bring more creative and tech-savvy women to this platform. And then second of all, there's the Hack Festival, which we're doing for the first time actually this year as a large-scale hackathon. An astronaut from the European Space Agency is coming, talking about decarbonization of the planet from a different perspective, from orbit, basically. And that's also something which we would like to, pretty much ground and establish as a platform as well. And then there's all the company-specific formats where we walk in with multinationals and pretty much also talk about their recruiting strategy, talk about the long-term tech strategy, and then create events based from that, so to speak.
Sounds very exciting and very game-changing initiatives. And Daniil, would you like to share what's next for Junction in the upcoming years?
Of course. course. And Ollie, you're absolutely right that it's super hard to plan currently for 3 and 5 years because the conditions might be changing every day. So we have to always adjust. But yeah, I mean, in 3 to 5 years, so well, starting with the things that I'm focusing on during my workday at Junction is the Junction platform. So since this year, we started to commercialize the platform and started to kind of looking for partners that would be willing to utilize the software for their own hackathons or for any partnered events. So this is one of the things that we are trying to pay attention to, and kind of that's how we would like to develop the company. Plus, of course, our main event, like our jewel, happening each autumn. Of course, we are trying to make it bigger, make it nicer for the participants. So we're always trying to improve the experience of people attending the event, from participants to partners and mentors and everyone involved. So yeah, huge plans in terms of growing the community, of course, because the Junction X events that we are having all around the globe, of course, this is something that brings visibility to the brand. This is how we can attract participants to our main event. And yeah, that's how we also try out the Junction platform, because during the Junction X events, there are like 300, 400, 500 participants joining offline. So that's a kind of huge stress test for the software as well as for us as the core team members, because no matter if you are here in Finland or like me sometimes going to places where the event is happening, still like almost the whole team is involved into the event. So yeah, the plans are big, but as Ollie rightly said, that it's very hard to plan. I would say that it's in short words, it's like constant development, and of course like keeping attention and keeping focus on participant experience, no matter if it's Junction X or Junction main event or the Junction platform.
Well put, well put. And I think what accounts for both of us is actually raising our voices and make it heard, because when we do those events, I mean, we have to do with so many techies, users, like you said, Daniel. There's so much wisdom collected, and I think we're pretty close to developments in that space, and really bringing that to the attention of politics, of, I don't know, scientific developments, and interacting with those stakeholders is also very important for us, right? It's not only a niche, it's really uniting many, many people at one event, be it virtual, be it on site, collecting the wisdom, and then, yeah, stand up for our communities and make that voice heard. That's also very important to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, you're right.
Great. Thank you for sharing the insights. And it's great to see that there's so much alignment, even though like the Hackathon company and Junction operate in different countries. But great to see that we're kind of in sync on that. And yeah, as both of you mentioned, it's a very dynamic landscape. Tech in general, it's always shifting. And with the hackathons, I feel like we all face the need to continuously adjust and better our operations. So my next question is, what is the core philosophy that drives the company's vision and strategic decisions amid this ever changing landscape? And maybe this time, Daniel, would you like to start?
Yeah. So I would say that the core philosophy of Junction is, as I mentioned earlier, is focusing on the participants. So it can be about the experience of participants, and it can be seen from different perspectives, because Well, first of all, we would like them to feel comfortable, to feel excited, interested throughout the event, before, during, and even after, so that they would like to return to us next year. But also, I would say that the challenges that we are providing, so that they are kind of stimulating the participants to drive those projects, to drive those innovative ideas. Because if the challenge is boring, let's say, so there is not that much interest from the participants to develop some cool, innovative ideas, some projects that the world has never seen. And I would say that, for example, our team is hardly working with, not hardly, but working hard. We're working hard with the companies to provide those interesting challenges, to provide those challenges that kind of reflect the current times. Something that is like, for example, AI was emerging and kind of still emerging currently. So it's on the hype, kind of. So I would say that something that is touching the people's hearts, so that challenges are attractive to solve, to tackle. This is kind of one of the things that comes to my mind. Maybe Ollie will bring something to the table, and I can add as well.
First of all, I can add to your point, touching people's hearts, right? That's a very, very good argument why, to begin with, we are doing what we are doing. And it's not easy when we talk about tech to really cut through to the heart of the people. However, I think in the format of Hackathon, we all know it's about collaboration, it's about teamwork, it's about sustaining tension over a certain period of time. And I think that makes it super attractive to build relationships, to build bridges, first of all, among our participants, and then the most difficult bridge to achieve is actually in between the participants and larger organizations. And for me, that's the core philosophy. And I think the hardest thing at what we do is actually creating that joint understanding of the mechanisms, how large organizations work, which are sometimes very contradictory to what young talents need and want, right? And being the middleman, being the platform in between and kind of translating, saying, okay, dear talent, you cannot ask for, I don't know which salary, you cannot ask for all the benefits, all the work-life balance, right? And at the same time, not hardly work, right? Like you said, Daniel. And then on the other hand, having the organization saying like, okay, we are not providing any benefits. It's Generation Z. They don't want to work and blah, 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 right? And really being someone who creates that understanding for the group on the other side. And I've noticed this to be extremely, extremely difficult because sometimes those positions are juxtaposing each other even and bringing them closer together while, and this is how we started in the podcast, while not losing track of current developments, I don't know, inflation, unemployment, whatever it is, right? The meta topics. I think this is already hard enough to do as a business model in itself.
Yeah, that's true. But you mentioned like this, they don't want to work, but I mean, they don't want to work in the old way, right? So they would like, we kind of bring those innovations so that they can work in a new way. That's why, I mean, the Hackathon company and Junction might be the game changers. That's why we are currently doing what we are doing. So that was a good point.
Totally. New ways of working besides, I don't know, having the coolest looking furniture, right? And the lofty office, right? That's something nice to have. But then what kind of tooling, what kind of tech stack are you working with? Is that outdated or is that really living up to par, where new technologies like artificial intelligence, AI service packages can be integrated into. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for the insights. And I just would like to add up to that topic of hackathons being more human centric than many people expect. Because as a marketing person, I often collect feedback from partners and participants, and the more seasoned the hacker and the more times the partner has participated, they the more they say that hackathons are not just about technology, not just about this innovation, which is, of course, a big part of it, but it's more about building relationships and building connections that often last a lifetime. And I think that's the beauty of it, that there's so much synergy between these two elements.
Yeah.
Yeah. And moving on, I would like to ask you what are the main challenges and opportunities that you see in the current market? You kind of mentioned quite a few already, but maybe there's something else on your mind. And maybe.
Any on your mind, or?
Yeah. Um, I was just thinking that Ole gonna start, but
I could start as well.
No.
Lord.
There was those kind of weird silence moments. Well, I mean, the challenges and opportunities. I think that the each challenge that we are facing is a kind of opportunity, because if you're overcoming a challenge, you're kind of evolving and building something new. So the challenge is currently, let's be honest, is that companies are not that willing to invest into innovations. I would say this may be not correctly said, but for example, like the hackathons is something that they are not putting on the first place, let's say like this. So of course, each company needs innovation. Each company is looking for innovative products to supply the market and stuff like this. But still, the hackathons are not believed to be the first choice for each company. So I would say that this is a challenge, because every time we are talking with the company, there is still some room for explanation. Why do they need this? So it is kind of growing concept yet. But I would say that the opportunity is that if you are able to overcome those problems with explaining why the hackathon is important, why the innovations that are provided or kind of created during the hackathons are so much valuable, because people are working in the teams of from 1 to 5, 48 hours paying attention, or 48, 36, whatever the amount of hours is, they are paying attention to your specific challenge. And let's say 100 people are working on the same concept. So I believe that this is really, really huge. And sometimes it's still difficult to explain to organizations why they need it. But I would say that the opportunity is that kind of getting more companies on board, explaining to more people why the hackathons are so much valuable. I see the opportunity is kind of in expanding the markets, in expanding the amount of players in the hackathon industry. That's how I can formulate it.
Nicely put. For me, it's about the current economic phase, which is not the easiest. We experience that every day when we talk to our clients. And as you said, Daniel, innovation, expanding headcount, recruiting is not on top of the list currently. So it's really about sustaining that period. No one knows how long it lasts, right? Sustaining that period and making sure that the concept which you said very rightly, has so many opportunities to offer to organizations. By the way, not only private sector, but also public organizations, right? Opening up and really seeking collaboration opportunities with younger talents. And yeah, as I said, sustaining that phase of downturn or no growth, and then being there on the spot when growth hits again and saying, okay, we can help you grow by innovating, and we have the right people. And I think what you guys are doing in the world with having multiple events all over the globe, this is something very terrific and builds your brand. And also ensures that multinationals, right, that are, even though they have their headquarters in Finland, they have operations elsewhere. And we have also done global hacks, right, which you have a studio at the headquarters and then they stream out to global sites. And this is something where the collaboration element is very big because, I don't know, you're signaling beyond the Chinese wall, right? Not in the technical sense, but in the national sense, right? You can pretty much include all nationalities. And again, that's something where hackathons also are breaking down barriers, which they should. So, yeah, first, maybe to summarize, sustaining the current period, which is very hard. That's a challenge for sure. And then being there when growth hits again and taking up that demand and pretty much scaling.
Yeah. Well, just to add a couple of points to your speech is that I really liked your idea about those kind of uniting the different people with different backgrounds, with different nationalities. This is something that this world really needs, because when we read the media, we see like how many arguments there are, and how many people are struggling currently all around the globe. So like the hackathon is a really nice way where you can work with people with different backgrounds, with different nationalities, different knowledge about this world and different opinions, but you still kind of united to tackle the one problem, the challenge. So it's a really, really powerful tool of getting people together and kind of make them understand each other. Even one person with another person is still like better than no one talking to each other. I believe in that. And the second part is about the financial situation. Is that it's currently really complicated, I would say. And even if we are going out of Europe, so I have just been in Junction X in Albania, in Tirana. So it's not part of EU, but of course it's part of land of Europe or Eurasia. And it's the struggles are everywhere. So, but people are still able to build cool products. People are still able to build cool events. So that's what I admire, actually. So with the lack of materials, with the lack of finances, with the lack of even work power, workforce, they are still able to deliver. And that's what actually amazed me when I was in Tirana, for example. Yeah.
I love that even when we're discussing the like current challenges in the market, then it still all leads to the power of community and the power of like uniting people across different countries. And yeah, that sounds like a very, very promising prospect and makes me feel very hopeful. And I would still though like to continue the topic of challenges because like now we live in a time of economic turbulence and in general global uncertainties. But for example, as Oli mentioned, there was COVID that kind of like hit us out of nowhere. For example, I remember myself when the first lockdown was announced, I was like, oh my God, is this even like a scenario that is possible? I could not even imagine. So having been through this kind of experience as a company, I'm wondering if you have developed any plans to kind of tackle these sorts of emergencies, these sorts of disruptions that were completely unexpected.
Great question. Should I go first?
Yeah,
I have a direct answer. So for me, as a solo entrepreneur, as being the one and only founder of THC and not having a co-managing director, this was basically unbearable because one person having to steer a company, having to make sure that COVID is not impacting an organization to its complete standstill. That's something that one human being cannot do because it's just too much. So my direct conclusion out of that mega crisis, so to speak, was like that I need partners, I need more collaboration, I need someone else inside the organization to support me. Because steering business is one side and it's already quite challenging, right? As one helmet of the organization, if you will. And if there is a crisis like that, it totally rips you apart, yeah, because there's so much to take care of. And therefore, those are the consequences that you need more people on board. You need more sparring, more coaching, more support, more collaboration, and really opening up the organization. That was a bit of my reflection on COVID.
Yeah, I mean, I was not part of Junction when the COVID has hit, but I still know that I would say that 100% of the companies were struggling in this or that way. And for the Junction, where the main event happening in autumn is now not possible, just because people are not allowed to go out from their houses, or like just because it's not possible to gather. That's a huge problem because the main event is something that our company is working for the whole year. But I would say that it's still super, super hard to prepare for something unexpected because you actually kind of don't expect this. I would say that what has Junction changed from that period is that we kind of tried to diversify revenue streams so that we kind of not only focusing on the main event, but also like on the Junction X events, also on the Junction platform. So it's what we kind of trying to have different solutions, different products for different market needs. And the second thing that comes to my mind is, of course, working on the media, working on the social stuff that you can reach to people without actually meeting them. So, of course, those Zoom and Google solutions have been emerging since the COVID. So plus the social media, of course. And yeah, I can easily imagine online hackathon. Of course, it doesn't have the same vibe as when you're gathered at one place, at one venue. But still, it is something. And I guess, if I'm not mistaken, Junction has been doing this during the pandemic. So yeah, as I said, super hard to prepare for something that you don't know, and you don't know if it's going to happen or not. But of course, yeah, I think let's just hope that from this moment it will be only getting better and not worse.
Yes, on this positive note, I think we can move on from the challenges and like the lessons learned from overcoming those challenges to some things that look bright in the future. And So I'd like to ask you about some exciting upcoming projects or partnerships that you're most looking forward to in the context of the company. So not sure who would like to start.
Yeah, well, I can start.
Okay, good.
Uh, uh, I'm actually super excited about our Junction X events, honestly, because, well, as I mentioned, this is something outstanding. Uh, yeah, the hackathons here in Finland have their own vibe and stuff like this. But when you're going to different countries and seeing how they organize the hackathons, even using the brand of Junction, even following the requirements that we said, still it has this own vibe, own feeling, own culture stuff inside. So I'm super excited about the event that is going to happen in Korea in a couple of weeks. It will be Junction Asia in South Korea, and yeah, the team is working super hard to make it real, and they are already experienced guys. They have had the Junction events before, but I'm super excited what they're gonna achieve there. And the event, for example, Junction X in Barcelona in autumn. That's a new place for us. Very young organizers, but super motivated. Yeah, I'm absolutely sure they're gonna reach super high heights after the event and during the event. But also, we will be having some nice collaborations for the Junction platform. So that's what I mentioned, that we're trying to commercialize it this year and hopefully in the future. I guess I cannot yet mention the company because not everything is completely settled, but yeah, it's coming, and I'm very excited to see how the platform works and but also how we're gonna partner up with them. But also,
Nice. Very envious of all the global events. That's great that you managed to spread the word and then gain the organizers and really make it happen. And I can only second the varying atmospheres, right, in those countries.
yeah,
It's not the same. It's always a different vibe, and I think the city's vibe, Barcelona, is something different to Tirana, not in a negative way. They just have their own vibe. So it's
absolutely, yeah. But also,
for us, obviously, I mean, there's the North Star beginning of September, our Hack Festival, which I mentioned. And then when it comes to our standard events, we're looking forward to expanding on her hackathon next year. Hopefully with a great collaboration partner, right? We'll see how everything is falling into place. I'm pretty sure there will be a great solution. And then, yeah, pushing forward our corporate partnerships here in DACH, so Switzerland, Austria, Germany region. And that's already enough for us. I mean, just like you guys, we're a small organization, and the amount of days in a year is limited. So really need to look out also on the capacity of the organization.
but also,
Definitely. It all sounds super exciting, and I'm actually looking forward to of course being involved in the Junctions events and also following what the hackathon company is up to, because it all sounds very exciting. And I'm pretty sure our listeners after this podcast episode would also be excited to get involved and to join in some kind of way. And maybe you could both briefly mention on how exactly they could get involved. Of course, there's an opportunity to be a participant, but perhaps there's something else there.
but also,
Maybe Daniil, do you want to start?
yeah, sure. Of course, as you mentioned, the participants, they're always welcome. And currently, we are having early bird applications open for our main event. So we are just really excited to see many applications coming in. The second thing is, of course, volunteering, because without our volunteer community, it's like impossible to imagine Junction events. Even if it's Junction X or Junction main event, volunteers are always super helpful. Yeah, and if you are working in a company, or if you're leader of a company, we're always open to discussing partnership options for the main event, for Junction X events, for anything that Junction is focusing on. So yeah, many different ways. And if you're just excited about the hackathons, just follow us on the social media probably. So yeah, just kind of try to stay connected with us, because we are hoping to deliver new projects very soon.
You said it perfectly. I mean, the four groups, right? The corporate leaders that we need in order to run our events. There need to be sponsors that get excited about our event. Then obviously the participants that love to use the platform and leverage it. Volunteers, same here. We couldn't do it without them. And then just the greater public also learning about what Hackathon is really about, right? And becoming ambassadors or becoming fans. And that's part of the reason why we invite the greater public to our next event as well, right? We always get asked the questions, what do people do at a hackathon, right? And I'm like, okay, you can come to the opening or the closing ceremony, but I wouldn't want you to stand behind a techie for the duration of the event, because that feels like a zoo, right? Where animals are being looked upon. So we're having a separate stream for the greater public to experience at least a little bit by themselves what a hackathon feels like. To hopefully then convert them to fans and enable them to participate themselves in the next hack. So multiple stakeholders, hopefully all having them as fans for the futures.
Yeah,
That's great that there are so many opportunities to get involved for all kinds of people. And with that said, I would like to wrap up this episode. And I really like that we had the words like community and connection and building lasting relationships come up in this discussion so many times, despite all the existing bottlenecks in the market. I do feel very hopeful about the future of hackathons and of our companies. And yeah, thank you so much for joining and sharing all the insights.
yeah. Thank you,
Thanks
Martin.
for hosting us.
Yeah,
Thank you. Did a wonderful job.
absolutely.
Thank you. And to all the listeners, I hope that you will also enjoy this episode. And please send us your reactions, comments, and follow us on all channels.